everybody, it's Lynn the Leather Bag Lady. How are you all doing today on this glorious Tuesday in Southern Ontario, Hamilton, Ontario specifically? We are going to be up to 22 degrees today, which is typically going to end up being 25, 26. Unbelievable. Still cold at night. Struggling with whether to keep the blanket on the bed or not. Pius sweats like a crazy person, so not sure about that. So I didn't speak to you yesterday, but we'll get into why after today's bag. So today's bag is very unique for me. I have never come across a bag like this, and this is actually one of the bags that my daughter found for me when she was doing a little thrifting herself in St. Catharines. Not a typical purchase for me. So this is a beautiful, now it does give you, it is made with paper and straw. How awesome is that? And leather. The straps are a beautiful woven leather. Little bit of color loss on the edges, but again, as I've said recently, I normally would fix that, but it's a vintage bag. If you are interested in vintage bags, you want them to look vintage. So I'm not going to touch that. It is in excellent condition. There's no corner breakages, no holes in it. The front pockets are fantastic. The lining is all intact. Little bit of fading on the edges of the top portion of the interior. There is a middle section, but it is kind of floating. If you absolutely wanted to, you could remove that, I guess. But it is, there's your branding, Talbots. I love this brand. This brand is just quality, quality, quality. Just thought there was a bit of a rip in one of the, I mean, some of the back side of the leather, just the finishing has come off it. It's not ripped or anything like that. Actually, let me just make sure I'm not going to make myself out to be a liar. No, it all seems to be in very good shape. Like I said, just some of the glazing or the burnishing, because it's not glazing. What they do is it's like a liquid treatment, and then they rub it with a burnishing tool, and it just puts a glaze on. That's what Louis Vuitton uses. That's what quality companies use. I mean, I shouldn't say that, should I? But glazing is the devil. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Prime example, if you are a Shop at the Shed watcher, I had a beautiful fossil tote that was brand new. I don't think it had ever been used, but it had been stored with the straps like this. And obviously it had come into some heat, and the glazing on the edge of the strap had stuck to the bag. And when the strap was removed, it had taken a chunk of color off of it. So I repaired it to the best of my ability. It looks fabulous. It's actually going to my sister. She, like me, enjoys a large tote bag. So that is going to her. But this is just so unique. This woven element is straw and paper. How cool is that? So a little bit of history on Talbots. I already had some information. I just had to tweak it a little bit because a lot of this information is now 10 years old. I have been doing this for 10 years. And although I've only had my this YouTube channel since 2020, I have been selling my vintage bags at a local art festival for coming on 9 years now, I think. And I would always try and give my customer a little slice of history on their bag if I knew it. And it's actually become my signature. And it definitely is, I think, what sets me apart on YouTube. And it's on my vintage. And it's definitely what sets me apart on my Shop at the Shed. I don't know everybody that resells bags online on YouTube, but I do have half a dozen or more colleagues that I watch regularly, and I don't know anybody that gives the history. I just love the history part. So here goes with Talbots. 1947. 1947. Nancy and Rudolph Talbot. Their first store was in Hingham, Massachusetts, known as the Store with the Red Door. Now, Talbot's was a retailer in my local mall when I was growing up in Oakville Place. And I think I've shared a couple of times the story of my dad. And I think I shared it recently. My dad going to the store to buy my mom silk pajamas. My mom is not a silk pajama person, but it was the day before Christmas Eve, or it was Christmas Eve, and my dad was struggling, as a lot of dads do. And he thought silk pajamas would be something to buy my mom. And he went to Talbots because that's where he thought, it's a higher end brand, or at least it was in the 80s or early 90s. And the shop assistant did not have what my dad was looking for. So she called around a couple of lingerie stores in Oakville herself, got the phone book out, the Yellow Pages, back in the day when Yellow Pages was how we found numbers. And she called them, asked them to stay open, and we went right over there, and my dad got what he wanted. I have never forgotten that my whole life, or my whole adult life. And I always kind of strive to do a little bit extra as a customer service element based on that story. And that was a Talbot's sales assistant. So 1948, they launched their direct mail business, but it only actually is still only 20% of their business to this day. I think they have over 400 retail outlets. And so now I updated my research this morning. So I'm not sure. After COVID, stores are just streamlining, downsizing. Bath and Body Works are gone. The Body Shop, gone. So many retailers, and just because of that dang COVID thing. But in 2012, they were acquired by Sycamore Partners. So like all of my favorite brands, Roots, Coach, who's the other one? Lucky Brand. They've all been taken over by conglomerates. Liz Claiborne. Just the way it is now. Just the way it is. So I didn't speak to you yesterday. I had kind of a crazy day yesterday, and I've actually decided that I'm not going to do an Etsy video on the days that I do a Shop at the Shed video. One, it's getting to be a little too much, as well as working part-time and, yada, yada. And plus, I heard something that Miss Philly said recently. This is one of my reseller colleagues who actually is Canadian. She's in Winnipeg. She does a 12 days of thriftmas or whatever it is. And not that my YouTube channel has any acknowledgement of views. I really don't care. Maybe I should, but I don't. But she commented on the fact that when she does a video every day, her views go right down. So the reason I am even mentioning that is I absolutely don't want to create any disturbance in my viewership by not doing a video every day. But I don't think I need to. There will be a video on YouTube every day. There just will be 2 or 3 of them Shop at the Shed. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm kind of slowing down a little bit, picking up the vintage bags, just because my kind of end goal is to have a vintage collection on my website, which I think I'm years off of doing that, because Etsy at the end of the day has such a huge reach. We were in Rosie's, our little local bar, on Friday, and we were watching baseball or something, and an Etsy ad came on, and I said to Pies, look, there's an Etsy ad. So I don't want to poo-poo the reach that Etsy provides for, shop owners, Etsy shop owners like myself. But I am always very aware of the possibility that they don't like something I've done or something like that. And Etsy is very well known for just shutting people's shops down. So my tassel, my upcycled tassel idea of kind of recreating the hang tags that my favorite brands, Fossil, Coach, Roots, I think that's about it. I think those are the 3 ones that I have the most of. I don't want to get dinged for copyright infringement or anything of that nature. So I'm always aware of that. Now, Pius had an idea for a business that he had already kind of done, but through the US owner of the brand. We went to a patent lawyer last summer or the summer before. And basically the rule she told us was as long as you change something by 20%, you can call it your own. I'm not sure about that. So, because he wanted to bring that product to Canada, but make some changes to it. It turned out it was just going to be way too expensive to make that product now because of how expensive everything is. He should have done it 10 years ago when he wanted to. But I don't want to poke the bear with that. So, my tags, my tassels will maybe have like a free loop that you can attach your Coach hang tag, you can attach your Fossil hang tag, you can attach your Roots hang tag if you so choose, but that would be, an after purchase decision by you. So I'm slowly working towards getting those done. I've purchased a few more pieces of material. I'm really loving the string rag tassels that I'm seeing on on Pinterest. But I want to combine them with leather as well, leather and suede, which will make them a little bit more unique in my opinion. So anyway, just that is kind of my end game, but I do appreciate that I have nowhere near the reach for leatherbagLady.com that Etsy gives me for my Etsy shop. So all in good time, all in good time. So that is just my very long-winded way of saying that I will not be sharing as many videos on YouTube regarding Etsy as I have done in the past several years. So that's just progress. Shop at the Shed tomorrow, and I'm going to be doing some photographing for that today. I've got my 5 bags picked. They're right here. And I do have an appointment at 1:45 today, so I will be getting as much done before I have to head out. But yesterday, Pius wasn't feeling very well yesterday morning and just kind of didn't think being on the highway in his big rig was a good idea. He was a little bit of an upset stomach, and he just didn't want to be caught short, if you know what I mean. So we ended up doing a few errands that weren't too far from home yesterday. Things that have been kind of, in the back of your mind that you got to get them done, like my receipts for my taxes, which was supposed to be what I was doing all day yesterday while Pius was at work. But that didn't happen because if Pius is going on a little bit of a road trip, I want to go too. So I did. And then Sunday night, we got invited to the Blue Jays home opener yesterday. And Tracy and Tony, Tracy is the manageress at our local little bar, Rosie's, Tony being her partner in crime. So we accepted that offer, and we weren't sure we were going to get to go because honestly, it was Pius was really not feeling very well yesterday morning. But we did go. It was a bit of a shit show. There was a Toronto Maple Leaf game going on at the same time, Toronto Blue Jays, and then obviously the regular daily commute for all the people. Plus, it was a solar eclipse day, which we were able to see from the parking lot of Rosie's, and it was phenomenal. Pius got some amazing photographs. I know you weren't supposed to do that, yada, 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 but our eyes didn't melt off our face. I was not, my sessions were canceled with my clients yesterday because of the eclipse. If that hadn't happened, then we would not have been able to go to the ball game. So it just all worked out in the wash. It was a late night. We didn't get home till probably 12:30. They won. It was a great game. It was very cool to see the home opener. And yeah, something I don't mind doing maybe 2 or 3 times a season. I am not a baseball person, not at all. Didn't grow up with it. I just feel it's very long-winded. But if I go every few months, it's an adventure with my husband, which is just always wonderful. And we do like to do things on our own, just because, I don't know, we're just a little, I don't know if we're weird that way. We don't want to wait for anybody else. We don't want to wait for people to finish their smokes and, all that kind of stuff. So I will go a few times. Pius is more than welcome to go, on his own or with his buddies or whatever. He will normally get tickets for the Blue Jays through work, but that has not been mentioned this year so far, and he keeps forgetting to ask. So we were very grateful that we were invited last night because, with the exception of us buying our own tickets, which are not cheap these days, we maybe wouldn't get to go. So I'm sure we'll probably go to one more, even if we do have to pay for it ourselves. But it was wonderful. Met a fantastic senior couple on the train. The train was literally like this. We were like sardines, and I, of course, because of the hot flashes, I don't know what to wear. And there is a bit of an outside walking element from the train station to the venue. So I wore a turtleneck thinking that, well, I'm not going to bring a coat, but then I was jammed on this train for 50 minutes. On the way there, if I hadn't have got a seat when I got a seat, I think I might have fainted. The hot flashes are insane. Like I've had maybe 4 already this morning, and it's only 11:30. I don't know what's going on. They went away for 3 months, December, January, February, and then they've come back with a vengeance. So I don't know. But it was a fantastic day. Didn't get anything done, which is why I didn't speak to you yesterday. But I do have Shop at the Shed tomorrow, 7:30. So I need to start listing the bags for that. So I'm going to do that when I'm done, because I'm going to be leaving in about an hour for my appointment. One thing I did want to mention, and I don't know if anybody out there knows, I recently did a bit of a deep dive on Etsy because I wanted to see what tassels were selling on Etsy and what purse straps were selling on Etsy, because these are the 2 things that I'm kind of wanting to do a little bit of experimentation on. And I spent a couple of hours, I think it was last Friday, and there aren't any real straps the way tassels the way I want to do them, and definitely no shoulder straps. So that's kind of fun. And I sorted all my belts out and put them in, belts I'm going to sell at my shows, decorative belts, and just plain leather belts, because I'm going to have to make one, like I can do a short shoulder strap. Let me see if I can find an example. I've got all these straps here. Let me see if I can find something to give you. Oh, well, here's a bit of an example. So I'm like a strap that's maybe this long, and it just gives you a very short shoulder option. This is much longer. I don't know if this has got any branding on it. I don't think so. And then I would like to do a longer strap. So very similar to this, because I am going to be using vintage belts, and I'm going to include the buckle. But in order to have the buckle kind of down here where it's not going to be painful on your shoulder, there isn't going to be enough of the belt, that side of the buckle, to make it long enough to have it be maybe a crossbody or whatever. So I'm going to have to add to it. So much like this belt has done, I will be combining other belts, you know, with a connector ring or something of that nature. So I'm thinking, you know, if I do this portion decorative, this portion plain, or vice versa, whatever. So I've sorted all the belts out so that they are in their, you know, their different categories. So they'll be easy to hold on to. So now what I need to do is just find the hardware. But while I was doing that dive, I came across, so this is a bag that was on last Wednesday's Shop at the Shed. It is a Myrna bag. Now, if anybody has any history with these bags, these are bags that are kind of repurposed. You know, it's all reclaimed materials. This is cowhide. Now, if you have watched my Shop at the Shed, you know that I do a bag that I categorize as a purse pound bag, aka the dog pound. So these bags have got a little bit more wear than I would normally offer, and the wear on this bag is that some of the hair is missing. Now, does it scream a problem on this bag? Not at all, because it's very kind of Native American looking. That just looks like it's part of the bag, but the hair is missing, as you can see, kind of the line where the hair starts back up again. So I Googled, or I found people on Etsy selling these bags. Now, to my knowledge, these are not vintage bags, and they're selling them as handmade bags. But again, to my knowledge, they didn't make them. So why are they allowed to sell it? I don't know. Because Etsy, in my opinion, is, you know, it might take them a month or two to get to you, but they do ding you if you know, they'll remove your listing or you know, whatnot. And it was multiple sellers selling Myrna bags. I mean, it says made in India. So I don't know how they're allowed to sell them. Anyway, just a question that I'm putting out there, because I don't know. I guess people make their own rules up and just take their chances. I am not one of those gals. I am too, my bags are too much a part of my income. So I don't want any reason for anybody to give me shit for anything. So as I said, I'm heading out shortly, so I have a really hard time uploading these videos in the shed. So I will go now and take my phone into the house and upload this video, or maybe I'll even upload it later, because I do have some bags to photograph and I've got some time to do that now. So join me tomorrow for Shop at the Shed. There will not be an Etsy video, vintage bag experience video. But that's just how things progress and move forward, right? So hope you're having a great day. Hope you had a great weekend. Hope you enjoyed the eclipse yesterday, if you were able to see it from where you are in the world. And I will talk to you Thursday. Bye, everybody.